This is an example of some of the material that we're going to be removing out of this system. This is a pretty heavy buildup of soot. It's almost becoming glaze. See how shiny it's starting to get? This is an example of some of the material that we're going to be removing out of this system. This is a pretty heavy buildup of soot. It's almost becoming glaze. See how shiny it's starting to get? You can see how it comes apart here. This just connects up to this part here. This swings out. Moisture getting in here and eventually just eating these joints up. This is from freeze and thaw, water coming down the side. That's why it's good to have a good crown, and have your chimney sealed to prevent stuff like this from happening. You can see it's all wiggling there. See it wiggling? See how these joints, this is from freeze and thaw. See here, it's way back in there. Like I said, your crown is designed to shed water off the outside, off the top to the outside, and the freeze and thaw attacks one side only. That's this side here. This house is probably 50 years old, but you can see the joints. This needs to be tuck pointed. What we need to do is dig all this out and put mortar back in it, and then seal the chimney. Yeah, this is a good example of freeze and thaw. As you can see, what happens is this area gets wet, this brick gets wet, and then in the winter time the freeze and thaw pops the face of these bricks off. This is what freeze and thaw does to your chimney. See how it's falling apart? Eventually it works its way in through the chimney and continues to work a hole all the way through the chimney. Here's some more freeze and thaw right here. This is on the crown. You can see how it's missing. A good sealer, the proper sealer, is what you want to put on here. But this is freeze and thaw. If you ever see any of this stuff, this 3rd-degree glaze in your chimney, stovepipe or chimney, you need to call you a professional sweep out there and let him evaluate it. If you ever see any of this stuff, this 3rd-degree glaze in your chimney, stovepipe or chimney, you need to call you a professional sweep out there and let him evaluate it. This is another kind of freestanding stove you may have in your house. The only difference between this stove and the one I've showed you before, where the pipe goes up and into the wall, this pipe goes straight up through the ceiling. You don't want to take this pipe apart. What you want to do is get up on top and brush it down through the system with the pipe connected. Leave the pipe intact, don't take it apart. Open your damper, if you have a damper mechanism like this stove does on the inside, so that you have access to what comes down, the material that falls down. Put your vacuum system in here, the way I showed you, to hook it up with a venting outside, and use it for dust control. This pipe here, each section has 3 screws in it. All this is another connector pipe. That's what it is, connecting to a terminal here in the ceiling. But it should have 3 screws in it also. So make sure you got the screws set in there to keep this pipe from shaking loose if you ever have a chimney fire or falling apart, or house moves a little bit or something. Put your brush this in here, everything hooked up. You don't take this one apart. While you got your cap off, go ahead and run your brush down inside the lid like this here, the cap, swing it around a couple times. That's going to clean the screening material off. Just a couple times like that. That cleans all these here this wire off where creosote builds up. It can impede the flow of the smoke, so make sure you clean this wire area here off also. I'm going to go ahead and stick this cap back up on top of the chimney. So I'll see you back up there.
Which way you got that there? That opening. Okay, yeah.
You're gonna have to.
No, you gotta get it in. Get it right in. Hang on. May have to twist it a little bit. Get it over that ledge there.